There's a $150,000 trawler sitting in a government storage lot right now. In about 2 weeks, it's going to sell to whoever bothers to show up. And almost nobody will. Not because it's a secret, not because it's illegal, because the entire system that sells these boats was never designed for someone like you to find it. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly where these boats come from, the 5 channels you can use to get one, the real numbers behind a $40,000 trawler deal, and the one mistake that turns a bargain boat into a financial sinkhole. That last part is the piece nobody on the internet wants to tell you. It's also the difference between the people who win at this game and the people who lose everything. I've been on the water 30 years, owned 4 trawlers, made every expensive mistake you can make. So let's talk about why trawlers and why right now. If you've spent any time on boating YouTube in the last few years, you already know the trawler lifestyle has exploded. These are the slow, fuel-sipping, go-anywhere boats inspired by commercial fishing vessels. Built for living aboard. Built for covering long distances on a single engine that burns about as much diesel per hour as a pickup truck. Not flashy, not fast, completely addictive. And right now, demand is at an all-time high. 2 forces are colliding at once. First, the largest wave of retirees in American history is hitting the water. Baby boomers spent decades saving and dreaming, and their moment is now. Second, fast mobile internet changed everything. With 5G coverage spreading along the coasts and inland waterways, thousands of people who aren't anywhere near retirement are working full-time jobs from the saloon of a 40-foot boat. If you can telecommute from a house, you can telecommute from a trawler. The clearest proof is the Great Loop. A 6,000-mile circumnavigation of the eastern United States, up the Atlantic coast, through the Great Lakes, down the inland rivers, around Florida, and back. In 2023, a record 270 boats completed it. Trawlers are the single most popular type making the trip. Look at the brands crossing the finish line, and you'll see the same names over and over. Grand Banks, D-Fever, Marine Trader, Mainship, Katie Krogan. Now go price those boats. A clean 40-footer from a respected builder lists between $100,000 and $250,000 through a broker. The retail trawler market runs from about $22,000 for tired classics all the way up to $8 million for ocean-crossing flagships. But something unusual is happening in this market right now, and it created a loophole most buyers have never heard of. It started with the pandemic. In 2020 and 2021, people bought boats the way they bought Peloton bikes. Stimulus money, lockdown savings, and zero experience. Dealerships couldn't keep inventory. Prices climbed. Wait lists formed. It was the biggest boat buying frenzy in modern history. Then the hangover hit. Interest rates went up. Inflation bit. New powerboat sales fell nearly 9% in 2025 alone, and the used market took over completely. Pre-owned boats now make up roughly 80% of all boat transactions in America, with nearly 860,000 used boats changing hands in a single year. But behind those numbers is a quieter story. A lot of those pandemic buyers are now exiting. Some sell normally, some stop making their loan payments, some just stop paying their marina slip fees and walk away. And every single one of those failure points feeds a different kind of auction that most boat buyers have never heard of. Running constantly, priced below anything the retail market sees, and suffering from the same beautiful problem. Not enough bidders. Let me prove that with one story. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department runs lien sales in Marina del Rey for boats whose owners abandoned them. At one of these auctions, deputies lined up 10 vessels on the dock. Minimum bids starting around $1,200. Bidding opened at 9 in the morning. You know how many people showed up? 0. Not one bidder. In a city of 10 million people, the dock was completely empty. These auctions run on weekday mornings, advertised in legal notices nobody reads, run by agencies whose job is disposal, not marketing. The lack of competition is the entire opportunity. So let's walk through the 5 channels, from the most polished to the most raw. Channel 1. Bank repossession liquidators. When somebody defaults on a boat loan, the lender doesn't want the boat. A bank has no use for a 42-foot trawler, so they hand it to a specialist liquidator whose only job is converting it back into cash fast. The biggest name in this space is National Liquidators in Florida, a company that has handled over 40,000 vessels since 1988. There's also Cranky Ape, an online auction house moving bank, repossessed, and insurance-damaged boats out of warehouses across multiple states. These are the most normal boats in the distressed market, used and loved right up until the payment stopped. The catch is a big one. Once an owner knows the bank is coming, the boat gets run ragged, and the care stops completely. No oil changes, no bottom paint, no winterizing. That 50% discount comes with an unknown repair bill attached. Remember that? Channel 2, Government Auctions. 3 federal streams feed this one. The GSA sells surplus government vessels, including ex-military and ex-agency boats. The U.S. Treasury sells boats forfeited for tax evasion, and the U.S. Marshals sell property seized in federal cases, which is why Marshals auctions are famous for featuring genuine luxury yachts that used to belong to people who are now in federal prison. Many of these sales carry no reserve price at all. A longtime Gulf Coast boater described a friend who bought a 74-foot Navy training vessel in excellent condition, everything working, for $10,000. The fuel tanks were full at delivery. He sold off the surplus long-range radar equipment and recovered his entire purchase price from the electronics alone. He effectively got a 74-foot ship for free. Are those typical outcomes? No. Those are lottery tickets. But they tell you something true about what happens at the bottom of the government disposal pipeline. Channel 3, Marina Lien Sales. My personal favorite and the most overlooked. When a boat owner stops paying slip fees, the marina or port authority eventually gets a legal lien and auctions the vessel to recover the debt. The Port of Everett in Washington runs these online through GovDeals. Berkeley Marina holds sales right on the marina lawn, sailboats opening at $1,000. The key insight is this: the minimum bid isn't based on the boat's value, it's based on the debt. Unpaid slip fees, towing charges, storage costs. That's why you see opening bids calculated to the dollar, like $1,273. The port just wants its money back. If the boat happens to be worth 30 times the debt, that's your opportunity. Channel 4, Insurance Salvage and Hurricane Boats. Every hurricane season, thousands of boats get totaled. And here's what most people don't understand. A total loss doesn't mean a destroyed boat. It means the estimated repair cost hit a threshold percentage of the insured value. After Hurricane Ian, a company called Cooper Capital was auctioning literal acres of boats in Punta Gorda as fixers and parts donors. Even Copart, the giant car salvage auction platform, runs a marine section with over 100 salvage boats listed at any given time. The catch follows 2 words that will trail that boat forever: salvage title. It affects your insurance, your financing, your resale value, and some marinas can refuse you a slip entirely. Channel 5, ex-commercial trawlers. Real working fishing boats retire constantly and sell for scrap-adjacent money because the commercial fishing industry has zero sentimental attachment to them. An Australian couple bought a 1974 prawn trawler after it sank in a flood, literally scheduled to be cut up for recycling, and turned the conversion into a years-long documented project. A commercial trawler is built to survive conditions that would terrify a recreational hull. But understand what you're buying. It is not a discounted yacht. It is a construction project that floats. So you've found a boat. Now let's talk about how a real purchase actually goes down, because this is where most beginners get burned before they ever place a bid. Finding the auctions is actually the easiest part. GovDeals is the practical front door. Hundreds of government agencies across the country list surplus there, including boats, with new auctions posted every single day. Search by zip code, bookmark port authorities and sheriff's departments, set alerts for categories you want. The Treasury's vessel auctions run monthly through CWS Marketing with free registration. GSA auctions and the U.S. Marshals sale pages cover the surplus and seizure streams. For repos, National Liquidators and Cranky Ape publish their inventory openly. For lien sales, the trick is old-fashioned. Ports and marinas are legally required to publish notice, so check every port authority and Harbor Department website within driving distance, and the legal notices section of local papers. The boats nobody finds are the boats nobody bids on. Step 2 is the preview, and this one is non-negotiable. Almost every auction offers an inspection window. Preview days at the liquidators, yard visits at the salvage auctions, appointments at the ports. Every single boat in every single channel is sold as is, where is, all faults, no warranties, no returns. None. If you cannot physically see the boat or send someone qualified to see it, you are not buying a boat. You are buying a photograph. Show up with a flashlight, a moisture meter, and somebody who knows diesels. Step 3 is the bid math. Here's the formula straight from people who've done this for decades. Take the fair market value of that boat in good condition, what a broker would list it for today. Subtract the full cost of a repower, which on a diesel trawler runs between $20,000 and $40,000. Take what's left and divide it by 2. That number is your maximum bid, not a starting point. A ceiling. So if a trawler is worth $150,000 in good shape, and a repower costs $40,000, you're looking at $110,000 divided by 2. $55,000 absolute maximum, and ideally, you want in well under that. This is exactly how a $40,000 bid on a $150,000 boat stops being a fantasy and becomes correct arithmetic. The discount isn't free money, it's your payment for absorbing the unknown. Here's the part that matters more than everything else I've said. The mistake that turns these deals into disasters. And it's simpler than you'd expect. The mistake is believing the purchase price is the price. Experienced cruisers call it the all-in budget. And it works like this. The real cost of a boat is the total investment required to buy it, make it safe, make it reliable, and make it ready for how you actually intend to use it. That means the hammer price, the buyer's premium, taxes, the survey, the haul out, transport, the first year of insurance, and then the refit. Fixing the known faults, fixing the surprise faults, replacing every piece of aged out gear. New owners routinely hemorrhage money trying to reach the day they actually leave the dock. Some of them never leave the dock at all. The defense is boring, and it costs less than your first month of slip fees. A pre-purchase marine survey done by an independent surveyor who works for you and nobody else. On a 30-foot boat, somewhere between $600 and $1,500, more for a larger trawler. And it is the single highest leverage money you will spend in this entire process. A surveyor finds the things a sunny preview never will. Hull delamination, corroded stringers, electrical systems one spark away from a fire. A boat can look beautiful at the dock, start cleanly, run smoothly, and still be hiding a 5-figure problem behind an interior panel. The paperwork matters too. U.S. Marshal Sales strip the liens and hand you a clean title, which is genuinely one of the best features of the federal channel. But lien sales and private auctions vary by state. Verify the title situation before you bid, not after. Now let me show you what happens when people ignore all of this, because the wreckage is public record. Investigative reporters in the Pacific Northwest traced the federal vessel pipeline and found 37 derelict boats rotting in Washington and Oregon waterways, all former government vessels sold to buyers who couldn't handle them. Cleanup cost those two states more than $21 million. One fishing vessel alone ultimately cost nearly $4 million in public money to resolve. Of more than 100 GSA vessel listings reviewed, only 10 had thorough inspection reports. The rest disclosed heavy corrosion, missing engines, or water actively leaking into the hull. Every one of those boats sold anyway. To optimists who saw the discount and never did the math. Here's the honest picture. This is not a trick. It's an information and effort arbitrage. The sellers are banks, governments, ports, and insurers who want disposal, not top dollar. And the buyers who could compete with you are mostly too lazy to register on GovDeals, drive to a preview on a Tuesday morning, or pay a surveyor. Your edge is doing the boring parts. Watch the listings for months. Inspect everything. Assume dead engines and bid accordingly. Budget the all-in number, not the hammer price. Walk away from 49 boats to find the one where the math actually works. Do that, and a $150,000 trawler bought for $40,000 stops being a headline and starts being arithmetic.